What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode of For the Love of the Game. We are on episode number 42 tonight. Happy NBA opening night to everybody. Happy NBA opening night to you, Steve.
Thank you, Mark. I really appreciate that.
You excited about NBA season?
It came quick this year, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it's 79 days between the end of the season and this season, the quickest ever.
When we were getting that much needed delay during everything that was going on, now it's been a quick turnaround for us to be able to get back into action. So, yeah, it's definitely refreshing to see more basketball on TV.
Yeah, definitely excited for it. Really quickly, let's talk about our sponsors, guys. We do have some bills to pay, so let's talk about the sponsors. We got RX Hemp over at rxhemp.com. Go check them out for all your CBD products. They got all natural pain treatment cream over there. They got a heated and a cooled therapy cream. I use it. I don't have it with me tonight. We usually have it on the show, but it works wonders. And go use code RXHemp-USN, save 10% on your whole order at checkout. And then for all your sports betting needs, go over to mybookie.ag and check them out. Like we just said, NBA season's up and running. They got all your prop bets, all the latest lines and everything like that. So make sure you go check them out at mybookie.ag and use code USN100, and they'll match your deposit up to $1,000, 100%.
So we had a good snowstorm up here.
We did have we had over a foot of snow.
It was about that, and I saw that you sent me videos of you sledding with the kids.
Oh, dude, it was the best.
Is it like the one? Is it always the best the first time that you get to go sledding during the year, or is it just the constant?
Dude, I couldn't tell you because I haven't been sledding. I can't remember the last time I went sledding.
Yeah.
And it was just like the memories. So it just brought back like when I was a kid.
Now, do you do like the saucer sleds or do you like the tubes?
We didn't have a tube. We had both of my boys had a saucer, like the plastic one. You go down, and then we had one long one, like a toboggan, or you could fit like multiple people in it. We crushed that.
I remember doing it when I was a kid. I'd always come back hurting. Like if I didn't fall down, like numerous times.
Yeah,
pretty sure I was a crier when I was a slugger when I was really young.
Maybe
a lot of pain.
My kids were they were like in like it had to have been over 100. Like they went down and up, and the hill was big too. It had like a couple of dips, so it went down and then up and then like went down again. Yeah. And like they would go all the way to the bottom. And like even me, so I have a 6, you have a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 3-year-old. They would go all the way to the bottom, they'd carry their sled, they'd walk it all the way back up, go down again, walk it all the way back up, and dude, there was no stopping them.
At least they were ones bringing it up. I remember some kids like make the parents have to bring it up every time.
Yeah, walk all the way down there. But it was fun because both me and Heather went on there. We went on the slides and everything like that, and it was a ball. We gotta do that one more. You gotta get out there. I want to get you out there.
Well, as a postal worker, like I don't mind the snow coming down.
Yeah.
I mind the days that it sits.
Yep.
And people not shoveling their walks and doing stuff like that. But I mean that's a story for another day. But shout out the post office. People that are hating on the post office right now, I want you to understand one thing. We're in a pandemic, people, and in a pandemic, there's mass amounts of packages that are coming through every day to a point like up here in Rhode Island where they had to find another facility just to house the abundance of packages just because it's too overloaded. Like Mark, when I tell you I'm taking out like Santa sacks every day for my roots, taking out Santa sacks of these little
some would say you're like the Santa Claus.
I call myself Stevie Claus.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't like to say that I'm not doing my part, but I'm definitely doing my part.
No, 100%.
So a lot of people just need to take a deep breath, understand that this is very different, and they need to appreciate these delivery drivers because we're working long days to try to make sure that your Christmas is that much better.
Oh yeah.
So all this hatred and that goes around with it. Just people need to relax and understand that we're doing the best that we can.
I love it. Before we get started, too, I have to shout out my guy Josh really quickly. Check this out. As you guys know, Steve and I started a website, Wired by Sports, and everything like that. And one of the listeners of the podcast and one of the followers, he helped us out tremendously. He helped support us. He's bought merch from us, so he really appreciates, really loves what we're doing. He decided to send me over some Coronas, and he personalized them. And we got some Wired by Sports beers. So really appreciate that. I want to shout him out because never expected that, obviously, from somebody, but really appreciate it. Really appreciate him listening and supporting us, and buying the merch, and because everything helps. So just wanted to say, shout out to him, and a lot to look forward to, with Wired by Sports and everything like that.
Yeah, it's definitely been coming from where we started to where we're at now and where we're hoping to go. Any sort of support is good support. So.
Oh yeah.
To the moon, right?
To the moon, exactly. So on today's show, we're going to get into the PNC Championship. We haven't talked golf in a while on the show, and that was one of our major things, especially over the summer and then with the major championships. But we had father-son tournament, the PNC Championship. Tiger Woods and his son, 11-year-old Charlie Woods, making his, I won't say professional debut, but his PGA Tour debut, kind of. And then we're going to get into some of the NBAs. We got some Harden's in the news again. He's causing some issues at practice, so we're going to talk about him. Rockets still haven't found a trade for him. We're going to go over our NBA season predictions. Season obviously started tonight, and then we'll get into a couple of NFL things. Sound good?
Let's hit it.
All right, man. So we're going to talk Charlie Woods first. And 11 years old, like we had mentioned. I think him and Tiger finished 20 under. They shot 10 under both days. They finished 8th, I believe solo 8th or something like that.
It's like the way you talk about that is like...
That's good. He's 11 years old.
Good enough that we're leading. Okay, but you're forgetting about the other side of it. His father is the best golfer of all time. Correct?
Oh no, yeah.
So 8th is,
I didn't say it was good. I just said that's where they finished.
I'm just a little stunned that we're leading off the show with this, and they didn't even win this tournament.
Yeah, but it's a big story. Like, how many 11-year-olds are doing what Charlie Woods is doing?
I mean, he should be doing what he's doing. His father's Tiger Woods.
That's no guarantee. I told you this. Like, that's no guarantee. Like, look at Michael Jordan's kids.
Different.
No.
Different.
No.
Golf is like the one sport I think if you start anybody young doing, it's just like kicking a field goal. Like, if you start kids young just doing that, be like, I want my kid to be a professional field goal kicker, or I want my kid to go get a scholarship. I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to achieve that. Golf, if they have all the things that they need to be successful, like all the tools I'm sure Tiger's able to give them on a daily basis, and the coaches, there's no excuse for Charlie Woods not to be a solid golfer, even at the age.
But everything you're saying that Tiger can give Charlie, Michael Jordan could have gave his kids.
No, he can't. He can't give him height. He
But
can't give him hand-eye coordination. Can't give him all that stuff.
We can't give that to Charlie either.
And in an era, what?
You can't give Charlie the ability to hit a golf ball.
It's a still object.
No kidding, but like, I mean,
yes, you can.
You know how hard it is to hit a golf ball. Like,
it's easier if you have repetition to hit a golf ball. It's easier to hit a golf ball
than shoot a jump shot.
Yes.
No.
Are you serious?
Shoot.
Really?
Shooting a jump shot is easier than hitting a golf ball.
Take a rando to a driving
Put it this way:
they just smoke the ball. I can put a rando on the foul line, and I guarantee you they're going to struggle at the foul line.
You can make a jump shot. You can't hit a golf ball.
That's not true.
What? Either one?
What?
You can't do either?
No, I can definitely hit a golf ball. Whether it goes far or not is another.
But that's the whole point. Hitting a golf ball means you hit it flush. You hit it the right way. There's right ways to hit a golf ball. You can't hit it and shank it.
Listen, okay, get to your point about Charlie Woods now. So
I'm just saying, he's 11 years old. They came in 8th. He played really well.
It was
for an 11-year-old.
Okay, fair.
Right? He made some great, nice putts. He had that 180-yard shot on that eagle on that par 5 on day 1 that he stuck it to 4 feet on the second shot.
He's a cheat code, though. We talked about this. He
gets a head start.
150 yards in front of everybody else.
Yeah.
Like he was literally driving in the middle of the fairway.
Every time. But just because he's 150 yards closer doesn't mean he's hitting the fairway he's not guaranteed to hit the fairway every time just because you're closer.
They were using most of his drives.
So he's basically hitting from where we hit from.
No, I don't think that's true.
I definitely think that's true.
I don't think that's true.
I think it's pretty true. Maybe a little in front from where we hit from.
Listen, I'm not going to take anything away from the kid. It was definitely a cool dynamic to see the GOAT himself and
they're unbelievable,
mocking each other the whole time. Still have the same mannerisms, the fist pumps.
Oh, dude, it was awesome.
You know, the phrases. I think it was "be that right number," that right number. That was a big thing.
Yep.
To watch them side by side look like they were swinging identical forms. But I said that. The way Tiger's back is, he wishes he had the torque in his back.
And they had the side-by-side shots of them.
Charlie's gun on Tiger. It's the torque.
The torque is unbelievable.
Hashtag. What was it? Fusion
Tiger.
Yeah, Fusion Tiger.
Yeah, if he could torque like that, he'd be winning more tournaments than he is now.
My argument was that it was more impressive for me to watch Lee Trevino at 81 go out and put up the score that he did.
Mm.
And you're saying, no, it's more impressive to watch Charlie Woods.
But Lee Trevino's also hitting from closer tees as well.
He's not hitting at Charlie Woods' line.
I'm just saying, he's a professional golfer, though.
81 years old.
I know, it's a stud.
The Trevinos beat him.
The Trevinos are good.
But it's a great event. I think that we've seen the event in the past, and the one spectacle that we always got was the gift of John Daly and Little John, his son.
Who's not so little anymore.
No, he's going to college.
Dude, I couldn't believe. Yeah, he's going to Arkansas. Actually, I couldn't believe that. Like, I feel like I was watching him since he was like 10 years old.
It was actually purely sad though that the Golf Network messed it up.
Dude, the coverage was awful. I'm glad you brought this up.
They should have had around-the-clock coverage of that, especially if the way that it was on SportsCenter. Like, they had a golden opportunity to really get massive ratings, and they just really messed that part up. And with nothing else really going on, there's no other golf really going on right now. I don't think there was anything going on in the other.
And the way they were talking about it, like, obviously it was a huge thing. Especially the whole Tiger Charlie like dynamic, like obviously it was a huge thing. It was all over Twitter, it's all over the news. Like, how do you not have it on TV to watch?
Well, everybody's such wood stands that they would die if little Charlie ends up being, what people hope that LeBron James' son Bronny is going to be. Obviously, I think it's going to be. I don't think you can get Tiger's accolades, but I think Charlie can get to a point like where he's playing as well as Tiger in his career. I don't think Bronny Jr. can ever play as good as LeBron James. And I think that's when people were talking about like the difference between sports.
Yeah, but it'd be hard for Charlie to play like Tiger, like how Tiger was when he was like in 2001 when he was, going for the Tiger Slam and when he was winning all those tournaments and
but my
you know what I mean?
Do you not think that Charlie's going to be more well equipped to handle those moments early on in his career? Knowing his father, knowing the microscope that he's already under, because you even said it. It was pretty impressive with all the cameras on him. The way and he knows.
Yeah, he knows what's going on.
The way that the kid was able to operate on the golf course the whole time. So I have to assume that.
But I don't see that being different from LeBron's kid. Like, I don't see that from Bronny.
Well, I think the one thing that we talked about, and you see the side-by-side pictures, is how LeBron looked in high school and how Bronny looks right now.
He's a freak. He's like.
But we also talked about the fact that he gets top meals.
Yeah, he's got a chef that like LeBron was eating ramen and like he's eating steak and potatoes every night. Yeah.
Open gyms, he's got the best trainers. Like, that's the same thing with Charlie Woods. Like, he's going to always have the best trainers, the best regiments, something that Tiger really didn't have when he was younger. He just was naturally gifted. Obviously, his father put him in the best situation that he could to make sure that Tiger was, I believe wasn't there a talk show that Tiger was on when he was like 3 years old or something?
The Johnny Carson show. He was sitting on the kid's lap. It's the guy's lap. It's a creepy picture. But it's like little Tiger sitting on this old white guy's lap. It's like, but yeah, it was on Johnny Carson show. But he's out there they had like this putting green out there, and Tiger's out there putting. But Tiger was playing golf when he was 2. He was in his first tournament at 5 years old.
So did Tiger let Charlie down in this tournament, in your opinion?
Yeah, 100%.
That's sad to say.
Because like there was like times where like Charlie would hit it close and they'd be like just like 80 yards from the pin. Like Tiger should get that to within 5 feet every time, and they would either run it by the hole, both of them, or like you'd expect Charlie to run it by the hole. Like, you're not gonna have him stick it every time, but Tiger should stick a shot like that every time.
I agree.
And there were times where we saw where they'd hit it and like Charlie would actually get it inside Tiger's ball. And we're like, Tiger, what's going on, bro?
I just know with the amount of coverage that was going on that they should have won. And they did.
No, I mean, obviously it would have been better for the coverage if they won, because that's what everybody talked about. But the winners, the Thomases, I mean, they just played out of their mind.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think
15 under on Sunday.
I thought I was more shocked that like they had struggled so much in the first round. We can see the Kuchers at the top. I was very interested in that. Yeah. I wasn't stunned at all that the Thomases won.
No, I mean, Justin's the number one golfer in the world. Multiple times he's been the number one golfer in the world. Since we're talking about betting a lot, I know you had mentioned to me that you saw a betting prop of futures odds on Charlie Woods winning a major championship at 850 to 1.
Yeah, before the age of 25.
Before the age of 25.
Correct. And
that's not just a specific major. That's any major. He could win any major at 850 to 1.
Any major.
Is that something that interests you? Like,
I think that you have to think to yourself,
even though you're not going to get paid out for like 10 years.
It's a long time.
Yeah.
Longer than that. Could be 14 years.
Could be.
I mean, it's an interesting prop because I think I told you the story about Rory McIlroy where his father was just in a
Yep.
bar in Ireland, and
Yeah.
him and a bunch of friends was with a bookie, and they gave him 350 for one
That's
odds to win
awesome.
British Open.
That's the best
And then
drunken story. Like
at
you
the
know,
age
they
of,
were all cocked in
I
the
think he
bar
was
in
at the age
Ireland.
of 14 when they made that bet.
That's wild.
So those things do happen, and I was definitely something that I was wondering about because obviously with the amount of coverage that it drew, you knew that there was going to be somebody out there with the wheels turning, was going to start speculating
Yeah.
what could happen in the future. And I think another one was if he would get his tour card, it'd be 2-1. I think it's pretty obvious.
That's obviously he's gonna get his tour card. Yeah.
It ultimately just comes down to if he still wants to continue in his father's path as he gets older. Maybe in 6 years he doesn't want to play golf anymore. So I mean that's always the question mark.
I think that's the only thing that we have to worry about. Like if you were to take that bet, that's one thing you really got to worry about. Is that if at some point over the next 10 years he's just like, well, fuck it, I don't want to play golf anymore.
Yeah, that's basically what it ultimately comes.
You know what I mean? And I mean, what we saw from him though, like he was super poised. He was like very into it. He was like walking around with the yardage book, like going through the routine, like as a pro goes through. So to me, that shows that he's really interested into every aspect of the game, not just going out there for fun and playing.
No, I agree.
So, one last question before we wrap up Charlie Woods. How many majors do you think he does win? Do you think he has the same career as Tiger or
no?
No.
God,
okay.
No.
Okay.
God no.
All right.
I think Tiger was a different animal in a breed of older men, and he just dominated the crop that was around him. And as we're seeing now in golf, it's a young man's game.
Oh yeah.
Like these guys are coming in, and I think we even saw it with the Masters. A couple of the amateurs.
Yeah, they played well.
They played very, very well. I think one of them was Augustin. I can't remember the other name.
I know what you're talking about. Augustine. Yep.
And,
I remember him.
There was another one, but I mean, they were there. They were in the top 20 for most of the tournament, and you're like, well, that's the new breed that's coming in next year. And obviously, we saw with the likes of Wolf, Morikawa, and actually, what's his face that he just won the other one? Hovland. He just ended up.
He just won recently. Yeah.
Just won another tournament.
Yeah, those guys are going to be around for a long time.
So I mean, the golf's in a good place, and obviously JT's young. So
yeah, JT's young. My boy Ricky's young.
I mean, Jordan Spieth was carrying it for a little while, but
yeah, you forgot how to play golf.
That's going to be a 30 for 30. What happened to
Jordan Spieth? 100%. All right, let's get into some James Harden talk. He's obviously in the news a lot lately, especially with the season underway. The most recent report was that Houston was trying to trade him before the season started. Brooklyn was rumored. The Heat were rumored. Raptors, Celtics were rumored. The latest one today is the Nuggets are rumored, but the Nuggets don't want to give up Jamal Murray in a trade. He's causing issues in practice. He's throwing the ball at rookies. Rookies are pissing him off. He's just throwing the ball. I don't know. Do you think it's James just acting up because he's pissed off? He's just trying to say Houston, like, try to get him to trade him quicker, and it's kind of surprising that, like, I mean, none of these teams really want James Harden, which is, to me, is a shocker. What do you think?
I don't think it's none of these teams want James Harden. I just think that Houston's being quite particular about what they're willing to deal him for because I think they've probably made it up in their mind that the situation's not going to work at this point.
Yep.
So they inevitably know that they have a full season that they can try to figure this out because if you know that you're going to lose James Harden, then you're not going to be competing for a championship this year.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not really in a rush to do anything. The only thing that you're really trying to contain right now is the semantics that James Harden is doing because the more and more he puts himself out there, the worse and worse he looks, the better off other GMs coming in with offers are going to end up having an opportunity to be able to snag him for maybe a lesser price tag.
I just feel like his value is higher now because, like, I don't think teams' offers are going to get better. Even they already know what James Harden can do, right? Like, James Harden's not going to go out there and score 30 a game, and they're going to be like, "Oh, James Harden scores 30 a game. I didn't know he could do that. His value is going to go up." Like, everybody knows what James Harden's capable of. Like, I think the time is, like, now to go get him. Like, Houston, you don't want to because Houston's asking for everything. Ben Simmons and 3 first-round draft picks and Jamal Murray and a bunch of draft picks. But, like, the most recent thing, like, if I'm Denver, like, why? Like, I get Jamal Murray's young, but Jamal Murray's not the best defender. He's outside of the bubble. He's been average, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like a little bit of recency bias is where, Murray has a great bubble and a great playoff run. And now everybody's like, whoa, wait, let's stop everything. Murray's the next best thing. But here you have a chance to have a guy like James Harden, who is a perennial all-star, perennial MVP candidate, is going to give you 30 points every night. You know, a lot of these people are saying, well, he's the known as the dribbler. He doesn't pass. Well, he averages 7 assists a game for his career. Like, he passes the ball. We know he can do that. We know he can give you a triple double on any given night. That's why his teammates weren't mad that he would go to the strip club. It's because then he'd come around 2 days later and give you a 50-point triple double. So, like, the fact that this guy is now, like, untradeable, it just kind of blows my mind.
I don't think he's untradeable, Mark. I think it's just the idea that some teams value their players a little more than you might look at it. And for me, like, we don't know what Jamal Murray's ceiling is yet. You know, Jamal Murray just kind of exploded last year. It's kind of like Devin Booker. Like, Devin Booker was trending. Devin Booker came into the bubble, had his moment. So now all of a sudden you just assume that Devin Booker is going to be a guy that's going to average 25, 26 a game this year. Maybe that's kind of the same way they feel about Murray. And you have to also look at it as, like, you bought into this guy as your franchise going forward. So while getting James Harden gets you hopefully the tenure of your three years that are left on his deal, you don't know what kind of player and his mentality is going to change if he goes to a place that he ultimately does not want to be.
Yeah.
Maybe Denver's afraid that, like, if he comes there, that maybe he's going to give him the same hostility treatment. Like, yeah, they traded me here, but it doesn't mean that I want to be here.
That's a good point, because he's obviously said he wants to go to Brooklyn and Miami and Philly are kind of the 3 teams right now.
So just because he's out of Houston doesn't mean that he ultimately has to play ball. And obviously the things that he's doing reminds me of what Jimmy Butler was doing in Minnesota. You know, he was really just going out in there to be a nuisance, and, you know, and he just kind of played it off as, like, that's just me.
Yeah.
Obviously, what we're coming and finding out with now that Russell Westbrook wasn't the biggest fan of James Harden as a teammate, just because he was doing the same kind of stuff. He wasn't at team meetings. He was showing up late to practice. Obviously, Russell Westbrook is a competitor, and James Harden is just a guy that, you know, has a very Allen Iverson mind state to him. We're talking about
practice.
We're talking about practice. Like, we're not talking about the game
practice.
That, you know, he goes out and he scores 30 to 35 points on it every night. Like, talking about practice. And whether or not he says it or not, like, that's kind of like where I'm getting at. So it's kind of like, love me or hate me at this point. Like, I'm still going to be productive, but I can be a sourpuss at the same time. So he's not really doing himself any favors, but at the same time, like you said, like, you know what you're going to get out of James Harden. It's just whether or not you want to surround yourself.
And, like, what do we need in the NBA to win championships? Multiple superstars.
And that's the thing that you have to preach the most, that this game of basketball is not so much about how good the general manager is. It's how good the chemistry of your all-stars can be, and the friendships that these guys get, and how they obviously run ragged through the NBA. We're talking about Kawhi Leonard wanting Paul George.
Yeah.
We're talking about LeBron and AD. We're talking about Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. Yeah. Like, the NBA is based on friendships. It's the one sport, like, where the players really control the movement of who's going to be good in the NBA. And I think that's why you praised Giannis so much last week, because Giannis could have picked any one of those teams.
Oh, yeah. He could have been in Miami.
And here all year waiting for the Eastern Conference Finals and the Western Conference.
But that's also why you can't blame those small market teams for paying big money either. Like, we saw the Hornets give Gordon Hayward $120 million. Well, that's the only way you're getting a player like Gordon Hayward, is, like, you're going to spend that much money. And Rudy Gobert gets $205 million. Is Rudy Gobert worth that much money? No.
I think so.
I don't think so.
I disagree.
I don't think so.
I disagree.
Why?
Because you already know that you're getting.
There's no defensive-minded player that's worth $200 that doesn't put up really any points on the other end.
Yeah, but Gobert is a talented player that has the right pieces around him in Utah that know how to coexist with him to make him a successful player. Like, I just think that
I'm not saying that he's good, and I agree. Like, Utah did what they had to do. Like, I'm not knocking Utah for giving him that money, because if they don't pay him, he goes.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
He gets that money.
It happened with Kemba. Kemba didn't get the Supermax offer from Charlotte. They gave that money to Gordon Hayward instead, but he didn't get that Supermax offer from Charlotte. And then what does he do? He's like, I'm leaving. You know?
Basically, with these teams, like, you just have to throw all your eggs in one basket and just hope that they end up panning out. Because at the same time, Mark, you have to remember that it's a business, and you need to have your attractions. And Rudy Gobert in Utah is an attractive piece for them to be able to make sure that fans are still coming to the games and doing what they need to do.
And it also comes down to the point, it's like, what are you looking for, like, to win? Like, are you looking at, like, everybody talks about future. Well, the future's not guaranteed. Like, you don't know what's going to happen in the future. Like, you got to manage your team for, like, right now, you're trying to win a championship every single year. Like, Isn't that the ultimate goal at the end of the day is to win a championship?
It is the ultimate goal.
You know?
But I really do feel like these franchises take a step back and kind of concede to LeBron James at this point. And I say that in the terms of if they know they're not going to be at a certain plateau, then they kind of plan around the fact that they need to think about 2-3 years down the line, and that's a good enough excuse because I think the odds came out today that the Lakers were plus 275 to win the whole thing.
Yeah.
And the only time I ever saw odds that were maybe a little higher, were obviously Golden State with those teams, which is understandably so.
But I also can't remember last time I saw a defending champion get that much better in the offseason.
No, it's true, and they have every right to be better off. Not only do you have another year of Anthony Davis and LeBron James being able to play together, but you also have all those pieces that they've added in Montrezl Harrell, Dennis Schroeder,
Marcus Sol.
Yeah, Marcus Sol, which is a great piece.
Taylor Horton Tucker looks very good.
So like all these guys really fit the mold very well. And I think that the argument was like, would you take the Lakers or would you take the field if you had to pick?
Most people are probably taking the Lakers.
Taking the Lakers.
Almost we did for Unwrapped Sports, we did our NBA projections, and everybody had the Lakers except for me winning the NBA Finals. Yeah. And that's because we bleed green over here. You know what I mean? So
it's green team. And I'm a Celtics fan, and you drive me nuts.
How do I drive you nuts?
Because you drink that green Kool-Aid.
No.
Borderline embarrassing.
I knocked the team.
Do you knock the team?
Yeah, when they're not doing the right thing, I definitely do, 100%.
But you still,
it's on Twitter. I don't hide it.
You still have this unrealistic idea that they're going to win an NBA championship.
So here's my thing with that. So they've been to the Eastern Conference Finals 3 out of 4 years, right?
Okay.
Well, no, they did, but they're right on the cusp. They're there. They're at the gate to get to the finals. I think they got better. Would you agree? They lost Gordon, but I think they got better.
It remains to be seen.
Okay, but like on paper, I think they got better right now, right? Because you were the first one. You said it all last season. I could probably pull up some video on it. Like the Celtics play good without Gordon. They've shown Jason Thompson, who helps with the big man rotation, who's a very good big man. He's a double guy, and then you have Teague, who's a scorer off the bench and can run the offense. Doesn't give you any defense, but he's another ball handler that helps you off the bench. So they address two needs, and obviously you have the ascension, hopefully, of Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. And then this is if Celtics stay perfectly healthy is what the prediction is. And so like if Kemba comes back and his knee is okay, because I tweeted it out. I said that the Celtics are the most interesting team because they could literally make the finals or they could be the 5 seed and get bounced in the first round, depending how injuries go. And if Kemba's knee acts up and he never comes back full strength, like who knows? Like there's going to be a lot to tell. But if everybody's fully healthy on paper, they can definitely get back to that Eastern Conference Finals because I don't trust Milwaukee yet. I still don't trust them. What have they shown? Other than winning 60 games in the regular season, they've shown they can't play in the playoffs. Correct? I mean,
well, you're basing it off of an AAU tournament format last year.
No, I'm basing it off of Milwaukee since they've been the last 3 years.
I really do believe that it's unfair to talk about the elevation of the Boston Celtics when we just watched them play in a bubble. And I really think that the reason why they had a legit chance to get to the NBA Finals was because they did not have to go on the road to Toronto. And they did not have to go on the road to Milwaukee. And
they didn't even have to play Milwaukee.
Yeah, but ultimately, if we did not have the bubble and Miami had to go to Milwaukee, like I think that the series would have been a little different if you had to throw the home court into it. So,
but I'm not basing it on just the bubble, like through the years.
Because in my opinion, I felt like the Celtics exceeded expectations because they were able to play in the bubble.
They did it all without Gordon Hayward, right?
Yeah.
they beat Toronto without Gordon Hayward, who's one of their better players, 7-6. We always talk about that, how as a fourth option, he was putting up really good numbers. He does a lot for the team when he's healthy. Kemba was not himself. Obviously, he was on a bum knee. So, like, they went through some shit in the bubble, and they were still able to make it as far as they did.
I agree, but once again, they came up short to a team that they probably shouldn't have come up short to. And I look at the ascension of the East, and it's hard to not think that the Celtics are in a worse position coming into this year than they were last year.
Listen, I'm not guaranteeing that they do it, but like what I said was, it wouldn't shock me. Like they could make the finals. Like if they make the finals, it's not like, oh, I can't believe the Celtics made the finals. Like they've all been on the cusp, and in my opinion, they're better.
The Nets are better. The Milwaukee Bucks are better.
To be seen.
The Heat are better.
I think the Heat are better. Yeah.
So
Philly's better. I think Philly's better, but I still think we're better than Philly. Toronto got worse.
but they still have that home court advantage.
You know what I mean?
We'll see.
So we'll see. So speaking of that, we're gonna get into some predictions. We kind of talked about a little bit, but we're gonna get to some award predictions for the NBA season, and then 1 through 8 in each conference who we think are gonna make the playoffs. So I'll just read mine off really quickly. I'll start with the West, and then I'll see if you differentiate from any of this. So I have as the 1 seed, I have the Lakers. 2 seed, I have the Clippers. 3 seed, I have the Nuggets. 4 seed, I have the Trailblazers. 5 seed, I have the Suns, Phoenix Suns, with all the moves they made. 6 seed, I have the Mavs. 7 seed, I have the Warriors. Not happy about that after what we're watching tonight. And then the 8 seed, I have the Pelicans.
No Utah.
No Utah.
That's insanity.
No Utah.
I mean, that would probably be the one thing that I would say that is
No
kinda
Utah.
odd that you don't have Utah in that mix
No.
because they should be in that mix.
I'm really high on. I like this. So the top 5, the top 6, even I really like. I don't think they're better than the top 6 teams that I mentioned there. Like I don't think they're better than the Suns.
Yeah.
Suns have to prove it, but like what CP3 did last year, and then what he's coming into in the situation with Ayton and Booker and Jay Crowder's now on that team, who he's shown that he's been big for the teams that he's been on. So I like that team. I like Phoenix. I like that Mavericks. Luka, and if Kristaps is healthy, I think they're better than Utah. I think Golden State, if they can get healthy, minus Clay, obviously Clay's out the whole season, but I still, even though this game doesn't look too good now, this was made before this game, obviously. But I think Steph is going to have an MVP type season. I think he's going to get back to his old self. And then the Pelicans, I think with Stan Van Gundy, Steven Adams, the additions they made, I think they're better than Utah too. I don't really trust. I mean, I don't trust Utah. I don't like I said, I'm not a big Gobert guy. I love Donovan Mitchell. We can do everything, but I just don't think they have enough.
I think the list that you came down to is a pretty good consensus whether or not those bottom 4 teams or bottom 5 teams jumble a little bit. I think they'll all find their way into the playoffs.
Yeah.
I might differentiate where I see like the Mavericks landing and whatnot.
Just like flip flopping positions.
The only thing that's a kind of a shocking stance is probably to put Portland as high as 4. That would be the one that I would probably say that I probably wouldn't have up there.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, for the most part, I think.
Now this is assuming everybody stays healthy too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's realistic that those teams are all going to make the playoffs.
Yeah. Eastern Conference, I have the Nets as the 1 seed, Bucks as the 2 seed, Celtics as the 3 seed, Heat as the 4 seed, Sixers are the 5 seed, Raptors as the 6 seed, Pacers as the 7 seed, and the Wizards as the 8 seed.
Okay.
You like that?
No,
Did I nail it?
No, I think it's about right.
Yeah.
I think it's about right.
I think the only thing I thought was possibly Atlanta, maybe sneaking up with the moves they made, getting into that 8th spot.
I do like Atlanta.
Yeah.
I do like Atlanta too. As a sneaky team.
We also got to remember too, like they have that playing tournament this year too, so there's going to be a 9 and a 10 team somewhere in that.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Let's get to our awards. We got for MVP of the awards this year, most valuable player, I had Anthony Davis.
I don't agree.
You don't agree. So here's why I picked Anthony Davis. I think LeBron's going to take a back seat this year. I think it's going to be more of a passing of the torch type thing. Because let's face it, LeBron's got a few more years left. I think this is going to be like a passing of the torch here. Like, here, this is going to be your team, Anthony Davis. I think Anthony Davis is going to ball out.
I don't agree with that.
What do you think?
I think
James Harden.
Mine's going to be Doncic because
Luka. Okay.
He's going to have to do more.
Yeah.
And I think his production is going to be up there. I ultimately think that Anthony Davis is going to have a fantastic season, but I think that he's going to be on a team where LeBron's going to take votes away from him.
Yeah.
I think that's why I feel like he's not going to win, because they're always going to be able to look at the fact that LeBron might be averaging a triple-double. LeBron might be doing this on a kind of basis, and I think that's kind of where that division's going to lie. I don't disagree that Anthony Davis is on a trajectory to have a MVP-like season.
Yeah.
But I think the fact of the matter is you'll always have that argument who's going to be the most important player to that team, LeBron James or Anthony Davis. And if you can't ultimately come up with a consensus to figure out who's the most important player on that team, then you can't automatically announce that.
Have an MVP.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I
can see that.
And I think that's where my ideas go with that. I think for a fact Luka Doncic is going to end up being the best player on the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah.
So
and you got to assume his numbers could be slightly better than Anthony Davis's.
So as he goes, they go.
Okay.
So I think either way, LeBron or Anthony Davis can
Yeah.
carry the Lakers team one way or another. So
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Next one we have the defensive player of the year. So defensive player of the year, I picked Giannis
okay,
to repeat as defensive player of the year.
see, I would go Anthony Davis as defensive player.
Okay, I like that.
That's where I would come in with.
Because he got a lot of people think he got snubbed this past year.
And I think that his accolades are going to be enough where people are going to have that same argument, Mark. Where if you really do think he's the most valuable player, the reason why he would have that opportunity is because he was owning it on the other side of the court.
You're not gonna go with your boy Gobert?
No.
No.
I'm not going to go with Gobert. Gobert's going to be in the conversation, but I definitely.
He always is.
I really feel like that's going to be Davis's secondary award, where
Yeah.
they're going to be like, Anthony, it's fine. You're going to win the NBA championship again. You might even be a Finals MVP. Here's a defensive player of the year.
Make it up for last year.
Of course.
Sixth man of the year, I have Karis LeVert.
Karis LeVert. That's an interesting choice, Mark.
And it looks like this was based on him being the sixth man of the year because there was rumors that he could start, but it looks like Dinwiddie's starting instead,
Okay.
and so it looks like he's. I mean, if it stays that way, he's going to qualify for that. So, I think I like Karis LeVert. What he's able to do as a taller guard, he's like a Vinny Johnson, the microwave. He's just instant offense off the bench. He puts up some big numbers. We know what he can do without having Kyrie and KD there. Now the pressure's going to be off him. So I think he's poised to have a big year.
Did you see that move that Mac McClung just made?
Mac McClung.
I just got really distracted by that.
Mac McClung, YouTube superstar.
An unbelievable finish.
Stud.
Made at the hoop. Yeah. So for me, I think it comes down to like the way the rotation's set up. I still don't know. Like in my head, I want to say Marcus Smart's going to be the sixth man of the year, but I don't know.
He's probably going to start for half the year.
So
probably won't even qualify.
That probably takes him out of the conversation.
A lot of people like Montrezl Harrell. Again,
because he just won.
Yeah, but now he's on the Lakers. A lot of people were picking Danilo Gallinari for the Hawks.
I think that's the hardest award to predict because you ultimately don't know how rotations are going to set up. I think you have to give it like a week or two to say like, all right, that guy's going to legitimately consistently like Lou Williams. You always know. I
was going to say it's not as easy as just saying it's going to be Jamal Crawford or Lou Williams.
But those guys will always come off the bench.
Yeah.
In any sort of format.
Yeah.
And basically be in contention for that award.
Yeah.
Like in my head, maybe TJ Warren might be a sixth man this year. I don't know.
He's probably going to start though.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to see the rotations to be able to figure
it out. Yeah, you got to assume, right?
Yep. So.
All right. Let's see. Moving on. Rookie of the year. This was a tough one for me, but I'm going to go LaMelo Ball.
Yeah.
Because I just think he's going to have the most opportunity. It was between him and Killian Hayes for me. Because I think those two are going to have the biggest opportunity to shine at first. Like Killian Hayes has already been like given the keys to the castle out there in Detroit. The GM and the owner came out right as soon as he was drafted saying he's going to be our starting point guard. Like he's going to be allowed to do whatever he wants. So he's going to get the opportunity to put up numbers. Something with LaMelo. LaMelo's not starting right now. At least he did in the preseason. So I don't think he will start the season. But we know LaMelo. He can pass. He's a taller guard. He can rebound. He has the ability to put up those triple-double numbers. So I just think between those two, but I have to go with LaMelo. A lot of it too is like the name too, right? The fame. Sometimes that gets involved, and they might be swayed. The voters might be swayed one way because of that too. But I like LaMelo there. Yeah, you different from that?
I think you're in the right ballpark. My sleeper is Malachi Flynn this year.
Okay, for the Raptors.
I think he's going to be in a great. He's going to get that Siakam kind of treatment this year.
Yeah.
Like where he's going to be able to come in, he's going to play very good minutes, and I think people are really sleeping on him. I was actually looking at his odds the other day.
Yeah.
65-1 to win Rookie of the Year, and I was kind of intrigued there because I know what kind of player he is, and I think that I think it's such a good fit for him in Toronto.
Yeah.
That like he's going to be able to explode and he's going to be able to get the opportunity to be able to put the kind of numbers up that people really aren't expecting. But yeah, I mean LaMelo Ball is definitely going to have the shine that people will be able to see, and I mean we're going to see how Edwards would be at in his situation too. So yeah, I think it's an easy pick to go LaMelo Ball for Rookie of the Year.
What about Aaron Nesmith and Peyton Pritchard? No. I had to throw that because you think I'm a green teamer. I'm a homer.
No,
that's why I had to throw that in there.
I think that they have a good chance, but to be okay productive rookies.
Yeah, they're not going to work either.
Competing for anybody.
No. Coach of the year, Stan Van Gundy. Pelicans, Stan Van. I just told you I think they're going to make the playoffs.
He's got a great opportunity.
Yeah.
He's got a great opportunity. I think that if you think the Nets are going to finish number one, I think it ultimately comes down to how much stock you're going to give Steve Nash as the head coach over there.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. Like, I don't give him any stock really. Like, not that I don't think he's a good coach, or that he can't coach. I just think like it's like the LeBron factor. Like, I think like Durant and Kyrie are running the show over there.
Yeah.
You know, you could even say Vogel's the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
how do you not go Vogel?
No, I mean Vogel should get some recognition, in my opinion. Especially, I mean, you still got to coach. You still got to coach a team.
Exactly. You still got to call the plays, and you got to, do what you got to do. So, so you think maybe Nash?
I think Nash. I think possibly who's the Phoenix coach?
Monty Williams, I think.
Is he?
Monty
He
Williams.
has a really good chance. So
that's a possibility. Kind of like that Billy Donovan thing of last year, where
this is so gross right now.
This game right now.
136.
What's the
136?
That's the over.
That's the total. Yeah.
Ooh.
So 133 right now.
I know. I see that. You have the over.
I do have the over.
Oh, just to set the scene for you guys.
I gotta hope that
set the scene for him, Steven.
No, I don't need to set the scene. I just need, these are the kids. Kids are doing kids things.
Yeah. But, Texas Tech, Oklahoma, 67-66. You'll know what we hear by our reaction right now.
I mean, Mac McClung's gonna make both these free throws.
That's you can't. He's a kid, dude. You can't say that.
I have to just hope that Oklahoma then fouls. Texas Tech then falls, so they can't get the three off. So they have to go to the line.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what I'm hoping for here.
Well, Mac McClung's got to make this.
He's gonna definitely make it.
Yeah, he made it.
Ice water.
He is ice water.
So
all right, they're going into the timeout. We're gonna move on. So I have scoring title. Most points scoring title. I got Damian Lillard.
I mean, if you like that, I mean, his odds are 7-1.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Harden.
James.
I'm gonna go James Harden because he just doesn't care.
I like it.
My long shot is going to be Trae Young.
Okay.
Because I think Trae Young's gonna have a big season this year.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. Defensive player.
Sorry, I mean, and if I think Doncic is going to be the MVP, it's hard for me not to think Luka's not going to average
30 a game. Yeah. Yep. Blocks leader. Gobert.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. We're not going to discuss that. Yeah. Okay. Gobert. Steals leader. I got Ben Simmons.
I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one.
Marcus.
I didn't even know that was going to be possibly like I didn't know we were going to go into categories.
Oh yeah, I'm like I got a list.
I thought we were just going to go who gets the hardware.
No, bro, I got a list here. Ben Simmons. It's got to be Simmons. Just agree with me.
Okay.
All right. I got rebound title. And the foul.
That's my guy.
He's gonna make both though, right?
Huh?
He's gonna make both of them though, right?
No, I need him to make the first, and he's gonna miss the second.
You have to hit 136 or the.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So continue on with the show.
Rebound title, Giannis.
Yes.
Giannis.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Okay.
I agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, maybe Gobert, but Giannis is more consistent rebounder, I think. And then the assist title, last one, is LeBron James. I had a tough time picking LeBron too, actually, because last year was
I would say Doncic could be up there too.
He could. It was the first time. We have a winner. It was the first time all his whole career that he led the league in assists last year, LeBron.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, if what I think is going to happen is correct, if he takes a step back and takes a seat back, then I obviously think that he'll be passing a lot, and which he does already. So I think he could definitely average over 10 again this year.
Okay. Fair.
All right, last couple of things, predictions. Western Conference Finals, I have Lakers over Clippers.
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, no.
No?
I think the Clippers are going to fall flat on their face again.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
Because they have Paul George on their team.
That's true. Pandemic P.
And he stinks.
That's true. Eastern Conference Finals, I have Celtics over Nets.
No.
Vice versa?
No.
What do you got?
I have
Nets and Bucks?
I have Nets over Bucks.
Fuck. That's terrible.
No.
The Bucks suck, dude. What? Dude, the McClung. The Bucks, for 3 years in a row, have failed in the playoffs. It's not just the bubble.
I understand that
Like they lost to a Celtics
but they
team.
are gonna. I didn't say that they weren't gonna fail again. I have the Nets coming out.
You
of
just
the
think
East.
they're gonna? You just think they're gonna make it to the Eastern Conference Finals this year?
Yeah.
Okay. Finals, Celtics over Lakers. No. Just tell me no.
No, it's gonna be the Lakers over the Nets.
Yeah. That's gonna be a hell of a fucking fight. If it is Lakers and Nets,
Give the people what they want.
nah, dude, the people want Celtics Lakers
No, they
to
don't.
tie the championship.
No, they don't.
To tie the championship.
No, they don't.
Yes.
No, they
The
don't.
basketball gods will speak
The
it into
storylines
existence.
that you will have in that finals would
Yeah.
be awesome.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant,
Kyrie, LeBron.
yeah, like like all that, like that would be
Yep.
some really good drama.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yes.
So before we close up the show, we'll talk a little bit of NFL. A couple of quick things from this past weekend. So we had the New York Jets absolutely do the most New York Jets thing ever, and they actually won and hurt their chances at getting the number one overall pick in the draft and setting themselves up for the next 15 years. Now let Jacksonville Jaguars hold that number one spot. This is just unbelievable from the Jets. Would you expect anything less for somebody like from some team like the Jets?
A 17-point favorite in the Rams, who had 10 days to get ready for that game. I think the story was more that the Rams couldn't take care of business, and that
it's true, but like you like just need to not win. Like you know what I'm saying? Like the Jets did things that made it difficult on the Rams.
I mean,
like if you're the Jets, you just don't win that game.
But the Rams were running the ball down their throats, and I think that the two plays that were head scratching was a 3rd-and-1 deep ball and a 4th-and-1 deep ball. That really didn't make much sense. That McVay had run. I was kind of hoping the Jets were going to be 0-4 going into the last week of the season against the Patriots, and to see if Belichick was going to out-tank the Jets and not allow them to get Trevor Lawrence. I thought that would have been awesome theater, because I just think that from a strategic standpoint, like that would have been in the best interest of the New England Patriots, is to try to in every way to make sure that Trevor Lawrence was not going to be in the AFC East for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
But like you said, like the Jets came out of nowhere, and I think we were all I know I was laughing during that every time I saw a score update, because I was like, so Jets.
So Jets.
So Jets.
Jets gonna Jets.
To be the ones that were taking all year, and then to blow that somehow, some way.
It makes you wonder, like, were they really tanking all season?
No.
Like
I firmly believe now that like if they came out and they won that game, then they weren't tanking at all.
You don't tank like you don't go into the season being like we're gonna tank. You try to win, but like if you start the season 0-4, 0-5, 0-6, like there's a point where you're like, all right, we just got to lose the rest of these games, especially when the prize at the other end is a guy like Trevor Lawrence.
I kind of borderline respect it. The fact that they still came out and they played hard and they did what they needed to do. But ultimately, yeah, like from a standpoint of what we know about Trevor Lawrence, and I almost think that it's like Trevor Lawrence fatigue. You knew what Trevor Lawrence was as a freshman, and now the fact that he just throws for over 350 yards every week in college football, people just kind of forget that, like, oh, that's just what Trevor Lawrence does.
Yeah.
But from a standpoint of being a pro, like, I mean, I don't think people have really had this much stock into a guy coming into the league since probably maybe Peyton Manning.
Yeah, I agree. And then, like you said, the Patriots and Belichick is like, there's no way he's going to let the Jets get that number one pick. Because at that point, they're set up for 15 years. And then the Patriots at that point have the worst quarterback in the division. When's the last time that happened?
I promise you that if it ultimately comes down to it and Jacksonville gets weird and maybe sneaks out a victory somewhere, somehow, the Patriots will lose that game to the Jets.
Yes.
And it would be hilarious to watch.
Agreed.
So, yeah, stunning.
Crazy. And then the other story from this past weekend, man, the Pittsburgh Steelers. 3 in a row now. I think they lost all to, I would say, inferior teams that they should have.
Cincinnati looked like the
except for the Bills.
Bears.
Yeah,
defense.
I know.
They were flying around. They were hitting. Yeah. They were jacking them up.
And they lost to the Bills, which was, expected. The Bills are playing really, really good right now, so I would expect that. But to lose to the Redskins, not the Redskins. I apologize, I say that all the time. The Washington football team, and then the Bengals with Ryan Finley as their quarterback.
Well, we did talk about how frantic their schedule has been since all the COVID switches. Going to that Buffalo game, they were playing their 3rd game in 12 days. And from what I heard, Pittsburgh was basically off till Friday. Tomlin gave them a long week to probably just try to get their bodies together.
Mhm.
Big Ben just looks like he's getting fatter as the season goes on. Juju's going out.
So out of shit.
On people's logos.
I think that's the reason why I had an argument with somebody today. Not really an argument, but a kind of a back and forth on Twitter. It was like, Juju needs to stop dancing and blah, blah, blah. Like, dude, like, that's not the reason why they're losing. Like, let's be honest.
No, but I mean...
Like, Juju's probably catching 1,000 balls and then going to dance.
Yeah, but I mean, he really hasn't been doing that well. And
yeah.
I think ultimately Pittsburgh's biggest problem right now is that they can't run the football.
No, they need cornerback.
And they've lost some people on that offensive line, and it's definitely hurt them in many ways. The defense is good, but the offense is just looking older and older and older as the weeks go on. And it's definitely troublesome because they don't look like a team that maybe can't even get out of wild card weekend at this point.
No, I agree. So, at this point, they're not even going to have they might not even have a home playoff game.
Yeah, I mean, both teams in their division right now that are behind them in Cleveland and Baltimore look like they're thriving at the right time of year. I always say as a Patriots fan, like the season doesn't start till after Thanksgiving.
And Baltimore, shockingly, is out of the playoffs at this point right now, which is crazy.
Yeah, but they have a really easy schedule.
Last 2 games. Yeah.
I'm sure that
they're a game back of Miami right now.
Yeah, I think they're going to find their way into the playoffs some way. I mean, they're playing the right football at the right time. 3 teams coming out of the NFC North. Who would have ever thunk that? And who would ever thought that the most comfortable...
You mean the NFC what? The AFC North, you mean?
The AFC North, yeah. And the one team that you should probably feel the most comfortable with in saying that they might have a legit chance is the Cleveland Browns. Which is crazy to say, but I mean, they're hot right now.
I think the Browns still have a game against Pittsburgh left.
I believe so.
So that's going to say a lot for who these teams are really going into the playoffs.
Absolutely.
And so
and then we had Kansas City versus
New Orleans.
And
I know you like this game. I know you like the Saints, right?
I like the Saints, and I just really thought it was a tough spot for Drew Brees to have to come in and play his first game off an injury.
Yeah.
I think ultimately what it came down to for me was I think you would have been better off just holding off a week and just allowing him to just kind of play something else rather than come into a situation like where he was playing in a marquee matchup that could possibly be a Super Bowl preview. And not having Michael Thomas for them definitely hurt. I mean, we were seeing a secondary in the Kansas City Chiefs that looked like they were playing at a high level, and we really haven't seen that from them all year. So I think that definitely hurt them in many ways. But who's going to really debate at this point now that Kansas City's not far and away the best team and the odds-on favorite to win?
Yeah, I mean, I still think nobody's touching them.
If you look at their resume, they've gone on the road everywhere this year. That is against a top-tier team.
Buffalo, New Orleans,
Tampa Bay.
Yep.
I think there was like 6 teams that they've gone on the road that are all playoff teams right now, and they've handled their business at this point. So. It's in Kansas City.
I'm a Kansas City, like it's Kansas City Super Bowl to lose.
Absolutely.
The only way a team doesn't beat them, they beat themselves. Absolutely. At this point. And they've had games, they've had closer games. They lost to the Raiders. The Saints played them close. I mean, they've had some bad games where they've barely won. Like the Patriots played them close with no Cam Newton early on in the season. But playoff time, they're going to figure obviously everything out. That offense is the most dangerous offense. There's like one thing you need, teams don't learn this too. And I heard somebody speak about this is like when there's like 2.5, 3 minutes left in the game and you need a 3 and out, like you don't kick the ball off to the Chiefs.
No.
You don't do that because you're not stopping them. They're going to get a first down and run the clock out.
See, my thing was you were down 3, and even if you kick the onside kick and you stop them to a 4 and out, like you hold them to a field goal, you still can get a score to inevitably win the game. And we actually saw it the week prior that New Orleans almost recovered an onside kick versus Philadelphia at the end of that game. So yeah, I definitely disagree with that. And I think I think somebody said it to me best was the fact that I understand now why people hated the Brady Gronk connection so much, because it just seems like whenever Mahomes is in trouble, Travis Kelce,
he's there
to make a play, no matter what.
And I would say this to you, like he's always in the right spot at the right time. Like there was a play where Bell fumbled and he picked it up and ran in for a touchdown, and like it didn't count because Bell's knee was down, but like he's just always there. He's always in the right spot.
He's dependable. He's always out in the field, and yeah, it's tough to beat that team just because of how good Travis Kelce is.
That's right.
But I mean, they just lost Hilaire.
Yeah.
So now it's Le'Veon Bell.
That Le'Veon Bell signing looks huge now.
No,
they got.
huge. I mean, it looks like an all Madden team at this point now.
Yeah.
The fact that you're able to combine Le'Veon Bell.
It's like, oh, Hilaire goes down. Let's just bring in Le'Veon Bell.
Yep. So I mean, next man up, and
Mhm.
we'll see how that works out for them. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be real tough treading for the
Yeah.
rest of the league.
Either way, it's going to be a good couple of weeks. These last 2 weeks, and getting ready for the playoffs. I can't believe the playoffs are here already. That's crazy.
I'm just super excited that on wild card weekend we get 2 more games.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's exciting.
That is awesome.
Maybe they should just go to 8 seeds. So
Yeah.
it's like it's NBA and hockey, just 8.
Nah,
They already had
I
7.
think-
Just go
I
to
think
8.
I think the bye is super important.
It is, especially in football.
Exactly.
So definitely agree with that. We're gonna wrap this show up though, guys. Before we do though, make sure you guys go check out our sponsors one more time. RX Hemp over at rxhemp.com and use code RXHemp-USN and save 10% on your whole order. They got all your all natural CBD products, so go check them out. And then for sports betting, you can check out mybookie.ag over there and use code USN100. That'll get a match on your first deposit. 100% up to $1,000. Make sure you guys go check out our work over at wiredbysports.com. We got podcasts, articles up there. We do have our merch shop up there as well. So get some swag, support us, Wired by Sports. Everything goes back into making the website and all the shows better. You can follow me and Steve on Twitter at WiredSports_CEO is my handle. And Steve is at SLewis5656. And then also on Apple Podcasts, make sure you subscribe to the podcast, guys. Give us a 5-star rating. Leave us a review. Go follow us on Spotify. You can rate us over there. It definitely helps with the algorithm. And, the more we get, the more good reviews we get, it helps these platforms push out our show to more and more listeners. So we do greatly appreciate that, guys.
So,
any last words?
Yeah, I do have some last words.
I love it.
Christmas is Friday.
Mhm.
So Merry Christmas, Merry early Christmas.
Mhm.
Do you have like a marquee dish that you eat every Christmas?
So my family's full-blooded, like we're Italian, full-blooded Italian. So we do the 7 fishes on Christmas Eve.
Oof.
And I don't eat fish. I hate it. So I eat pasta. Like this year I'm having cheese tortellini. But my mother does baked stuffed shrimp, linguine and clam sauce, snail salads, smelts, bacala.
Bacala, that's Greek.
Yeah, no, it's Italian. Baklava.
Baklava's Italian?
Yeah, it's an Italian dish.
Shut up.
Yeah.
I've only seen it in like places I go get Greek food.
That's not my.
And I always just kind of assumed that was kind of like a dessert for them.
Maybe it was inherited from the Italians.
Are we sure about this? Are we
Probably.
Fact check this.
We could. We might have to fact check it.
I'm a little stunned by this.
What do you eat?
I am huge on Christmas ham.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have Christmas Day. We'll have a ham.
See, we celebrate our Christmas Eve.
That's what we do.
We do Christmas Eve. Christmas Day is just kind of a day to kind of just lounge
chill
and just relax,
eat, drink.
It used to be a Chinese food day. Probably just be a leftover day now. But for me, it's always Christmas ham. My mom gets the boar's head ham.
Yeah.
Top notch.
Yeah.
Potatoes. But I always do appreciate a good pasta.
Yes.
And I always make sure that I hope.
So our thing on the Italian side is we do no meat Christmas Eve. You're not supposed to eat meat.
I know.
So we do a ham Christmas Day.
So you Italians eat well. You have 2 big meals.
So we eat well, baby. Look at we eat good.
2 big meals.
Yeah.
Okay.
All the fixings.
Okay.
All right, man. So like Steve said, it's Christmas. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas to all you guys out there. Again, appreciate you guys for watching the live stream and listening on the podcasted version. And we'll be back with you guys next week for another episode of For the Love of the Game. Peace, guys.